Welcome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Titi Loye, and welcome to SOP football platform today. And it's a wonderful feeling to be here, guys. And I'm here with two great gentlemen. His name is Nkosi, but I'm not going to call him that because you see, he belongs to the devil already. Sadly, he's wearing white. So, devil on the right hand side. You are a Gunners fan, right? So
exactly,
I know that, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so
Gunners fan. Thank
welcome today. And today we are going to talk about football in general. We're just going to, I don't have any plans for you today, but I'm going to ask you questions that will bring out the sentiment in you, right?
Okay.
I'm going to talk to you mostly about Eric Ten Hag. That's what I call him. Because he's a flop to me as a person. And I will talk to you about Arsenal majorly, quickly. But before that, I want to ask you a question. In the Premier League so far, we played 12 games. What has been your best game till date? Best game as a Man U fan.
As a Man U fan?
Yeah, because I know you want to tell me about Chelsea and Man City.
No, I won't tell you about Chelsea and Man City.
So tell me, what's your best game so far this season?
It will be a Crystal Palace against Everton.
Crystal Palace. That's a 3-2-1.
3-2-1.
Interesting. Why was it your best game?
That game was interesting. That game was high because we had, in the first 10 minutes, we had 2 goals. Both teams had scored. So it was a space of, I think, about a minute or two between the 2 goals.
Yeah.
Where Crystal Palace had conceded. Then Eze tried to trip himself in, got a penalty, scored, and straight after that, Everton score. Crystal Palace scores, and until Everton wins it eventually. So it was a game that was really interesting. And
I think that Crystal Palace game, I think it's under celebrated. I think he got swept under the carpet. I quite agree with you. Looking back now, I knew because I didn't even expect Everton to even score a goal in that game. Anyways, so let me talk to you real quick. For you, I'm not going to ask you about your best game because I knew what your best game will be. I knew it's going to be the 1-0 over Man City.
I wanted to say something.
So I won't ask you that. I'm going to ask you that. Do you believe Arteta is the man to take Arsenal to the promised land? You know why they mock Arsenal? They talk about the elusive Champions League, and they talk about the fact that we've not won. Arsenal has not won the Premier League this decade.
True.
So, do you think Arteta is the man for the job?
I think the fact that Arteta almost did it last season. We were almost there. Those unfortunate 3 draws and whatever happened after that. Yeah. So if there is someone who can actually do it, it's Arteta. I believe it's Arteta who can get us to the promised land. It's just that the whole team needs a bit of composure. This time they need more spirit. And I can see the spirit is there. It's just that we need to be in the game. It's okay if by Christmas we are not in the first position. It's fine because last time around we were in the first position.
And we still lost.
Yeah, we still lost. So it's okay as long as we are there towards the final few matches. I think we have a very solid chance. And for me, it is Arteta for now or no one else.
Good. I like that. You see, Arsenal fan, they keep it short. Simple and sweet. Now I come back to you, the devil. Manchester United. What is your overall assessment of Eric Ten Hag?
Eric Ten Hag. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably score him 6.
Wow.
But is it because he's a terrible manager? Not so sure. Because there's a lot of drama surrounding the club. Be it management, be it players themselves, because you find that a player is not willing to listen to him, and that player would go and post things online. We all know that player. Then they are no longer playing. So it shows that in the dressing room, before we get out in the pitch, there's a lot of squabbles, there are a lot of disagreements, and this whole squabble, I know we make an excuse out of the ownership thing, but also that plays a role. Because the manager doesn't know what is going to happen, things like that. The players are not, there's no right spirit, there's no team spirit, there's no unity per se to say about Manchester United if you're just looking at it from the outside. So there's a lot of things that then affect the performance of the club and the performance of the manager as well.
So, in summary, Cristiano Ronaldo was right. About everything, because that's what you just said.
Yeah, he was.
Cristiano Ronaldo was. Let that be on record. You were right. Very right. Okay, so now I want you to tell me, right? Where do you think Chelsea will finish this season?
I mean, there's a lot of buzz about Chelsea, especially with the last game that they have played, and especially with Pochettino looking after the helm. So we might expect them pushing up, which I think they are doing currently. To be very realistic, I don't see them in Champions League this season, but I think they can hit for Europa. If Europa is something that they good, if they get to qualify for Europa, I think most of our Chelsea fans will be extremely happy.
Europa, that means you place them anywhere between 5th
and
because 6th, right? Because we are going to get 5 slots from
so
next
6 to
year.
8.
So 6th to 8th.
Yes. Max.
You actually rate them.
That's it. Nothing more than that.
That's impressive. Yeah. You see, Arsenal dominate on you. All right. Now, this is a collective. This question goes to both of you in general, right? Okay. Now, in the Premier League this season, what has been the most? What's the word for it now? The most divisive talk point in the Premier League as of today. 12 games in.
VAR.
VAR.
I think definitely is those 3 letters. VAR.
VAR.
Okay. So I'm going to draw you into a little controversy. Okay. Did you watch the Arsenal-Newcastle game?
No, I missed that one.
You missed that one? Yeah. Okay. So I won't talk to you about that one there. So, did you watch the Arsenal-Newcastle game?
I watched it. I banged my head. I was like holding my hair. I mean, if VAR cannot get it right, then who else can? Yeah, and games like this, and especially at the standard of Premier League, we really cannot expect these kind of mishaps. If this happens, it is really, really unfair. I mean, come on, especially for a team like Arsenal that we have faced so many things in the past. This one, it hurts even more. So I believe, this one was really, really, it was upsetting. It was upsetting.
Yeah. Before I wrap it up, I want to throw Liverpool into this conversation, and I want to throw it into the conversation because of you. Now. To me, it's going to make me sound like I don't like all the coaches except Arteta. Klopp talks too much. Do you believe he talks too much, judging Klopp?
Yeah, not too much, but probably not at the right time. Not too much, but probably not at the right time.
So do you think he has a similarity with Eric Ten Hag? Because that's where I'm going.
In terms of the talking
part? Yes. Talking at the not so appropriate time. Because I believe, right? See, I always tell people every time that the key to having a meaningful conversation with people is not always in saying the right things at the right time. It is in leaving unsaid the wrong things in the trying moment, which I believe Eric fails and Jurgen also fails. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, to some extent, because even what's his name, the Tottenham coach?
Yeah.
He even said
that
I don't speak back to the referees because they.
But you got a card.
But in one of his press conferences was like, these guys are managing the match. You should respect them. You shouldn't talk back to them. Yeah, I guess it's just that football is an emotional sport. So sometimes the emotions get the better of them. So they might go into the match thinking they don't want to do this, but because the emotions get the better of them, they might end up doing that because they feel like it's unfair, kind of thing. But yeah.
I think I agree with that. So I'm going to ask you now. It might look like I'm coming for you at the juggler, but in the Premier League this season, 12 games, who is the flop of the season so far? Which player from which team is the flop of the season so far?
I think for me, I would definitely pick Cucurella. Cucurella, is that the correct name?
Yeah, Cucurella is Barca's best player.
He was one of the best players. He was running up and down.
Oh, okay. Oh, Cucurella, that.
Yeah, the fluffy hair. Yeah, so I would definitely rate him.
What about you?
Anthony. Number 21, Manchester United.
That is coming from the heart.
Worst player.
It's coming from the heart.
Worst signing.
Ooh.
The man just goes just as merry-go-rounds, loses the ball, complains about losing the ball, I saw it throw it. Like, what are you doing? For me, that's the biggest flop.
Okay.
And coming back to your question, Ti, about Jurgen Klopp and Ten Hag,
Ten Hag.
I think from the region that they come from, and especially the
outspoken.
Dutch German mentality, yeah, they are a bit like this, you know.
I get
They speak a lot, and whereby they try to give their opinions where sometimes you don't really need to give an opinion. So I think part of that mentality, the Dutch German mentality, comes into play. So we can see that kind of attitude from.
Okay, I think that I agree with that, and that's a very wonderful insight. I didn't even think about it from the cultural perspective, right? And thank you for shedding light on that. You like that perspective. I've not heard it anywhere else. So thank you for bringing it to SOP football. And one more question, and I'm still thinking what the question should be, but I want to make it as controversial as possible. Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz. Do you think is in my language, in my country, there's this thing we call money misroad. Do you think Kai Havertz is going to flop at Arsenal?
Is he going to flop or has he flopped?
Has he flopped?
I don't think bringing Kai Havertz was the right decision from Chelsea after he failed at Chelsea the way he failed. Because he wasn't playing.
He won them in Champions League. You can say he failed.
Having one significant contribution in a season doesn't mean he had a successful season.
But without him, they wouldn't have that Champions League.
It's arguable. It's debatable, rather.
But I get it.
Because you can probably someone who was playing in that. If it was someone else, probably would have scored two.
I get it.
So I'm saying that I don't think he is assimilated well to English Premier League. I don't think.
And that's thanks to Chelsea because he was overtly played out of position.
Yeah. So I'm thinking. I don't know if he's going to turn out well, but I don't think he will. I don't think he's assimilated well to Premier League.
Cut your losses, man.
Well, you just bought him like.
No, I'm saying cut your losses and don't expect anything from Kai.
Yeah, limit your expectations so that you won't get disappointed.
Do you agree with that?
I mean, he's a Champions League winner, so he brings a lot to the table.
Yeah.
But considering that Arsenal this season, they will be banging in more for those, especially the gaps that he can run in around.
Yeah.
I think we expect quite a lot from him, but I'm not that confident that he might deliver.
Wow. How come I have a very contrary opinion to both my guests? And that doesn't happen quite often because for me, right, I'm one of the few people who feel Kai is being judged for the things he doesn't do instead of the things he does. I believe that what Kai brings to the team, it's not goals. People believe that Arsenal has brought on Kai Havertz to come and bang in goals. No. Arsenal has brought on Kai Havertz because of link-up plays. That's what he does. The way he moves is what he brings to the table. And I know, right, that after 12 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, it looks a little bit down. But yes, but I quite agree with you. I guess time will tell, right? Yeah. Whatever. So before we leave, one final thing. What has been your key takeaway moment from the season so far?
From the season so far, for me, it has been Tottenham. Tottenham have been the revelation. Are they consistent enough to go on and finish in the top 4? I'm not so sure. Is it just a new coach bounce? Most probably. But for them, they've shown a consistent football. There's an identity to how they play. Because I thought they were going to flop after Kane left. But they've been a shocking revelation.
For me, I think that was the tonic that made them play well in the last 10 games. And it's one off now. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Because nobody was expecting anything from them.
Exactly. So
just like nobody expected Arsenal to be top of the table last season, and it happened, right? So you
just had to slide that in.
So for you, what has been your key takeaway moment so far?
For me, I'll do a split for this one. I'll go all the way at the bottom of the league, and I would say Luton Town. Yeah.
It's like me.
Yeah, so I like the bit of these underdog spirit that we have within the league. So Luton Town still in the game, still not relegated, and they are still at the bottom 3. But I would be really surprised if a team if a club like Luton Town can survive in the Premier League with the amount of resources and the fan capacity and whatnot they have. So I think that is what Premier League is all about, and that is why we watch Premier League.
And it's amazing. They almost beat Liverpool.
They almost beat, yeah. So
and I remember saying here in one of our programs that Luton, right, that they will still beat quite a lot of people that you don't expect them to beat.
or trouble them.
And that can just be what would make them escape relegation.
Yeah. I mean, I understand Manchester United is terrible, but they struggled to win that 1-0. Still struggled to get those 3 points.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on the platform. Cozy, I still called it right. The devil.
Thank you,
my man.
Thank
And
you.
from us on SOP Football, it's a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you.